How to train when you're in a calorie deficit. Most people mess this up. They either pick the wrong style of training or they just train too much. It's not about how often you train, but it's about how you train and what you do. By the way, I'm Jacob, a dad, a coach, an Ironman athlete, and I've coached over 500 men and women to get in their best shape of their life. Now let's get into this. The problem with the way most people train when in a calorie deficit. When calories drop, normally so does their performance. They add in a lot of additional cardio, which increases fatigue and their appetite. And all these things just lead to a lack of consistency, a higher chance of injury, and slower or no results. So instead, here's the approach that I would take. Prioritize your resistance training, and ideally aim to lift weights 3 to 4 days a week. These sessions can be relatively short, 35 to 45 minutes. Have 4 or 5 key lifts inside of your workouts, like bench press, squat, deadlift, some rowing exercises, and work anywhere between a 6 to 12 rep range. And make sure within this rep range that it is physically challenging. Secondly, reduce any unnecessary volume. In the fitness space, we would call this junk volume. It's just excessive sets with no real intention or intensity. Instead of doing 8 or 10 sets of an exercise, just do 2 or 3. But make sure that you are physically challenging yourself in each set in which you're completing. Less is generally better when it comes to adaptation of strength and muscle development when you're strength training. Moving me on to point number 3, and almost repeating what I said a minute ago, keep session length generally short. 30 to 60 minutes is more than enough. And I always say to my clients, if you can train for more than 60 minutes, you really need to question the intensity of your workouts within the first 60 minutes in which you trained in. You should be getting out that gym within an hour, feeling like you've really put in a bit of a shift. Moving on then to number 4, do start to add some cardio. It will help improve your overall aerobic fitness, so you'll recover faster in between your weight sets and be able to train harder. You'll also burn additional calories, which will contribute towards fat loss, but just add it gradually and be mindful of your energy, appetite, recovery, and overall fatigue across the week. Look, I love cardio as much as the next person, but the reality is if you're just doing too much across the week, you're gonna find it very difficult to stick to your diet and get stronger and not see the physical changes in which you're trying to achieve. Now, here's just a few examples of some guys that I've worked with that have seen their performance skyrocket as their weight and body fat has gone down. It's a simple concept, but if you can get stronger as you get lighter, your body's gonna change drastically. Here's Lewis, and this transformation happened in just 16 weeks. At the time, he was 49. And as you can see, is a huge difference on his body. He actually maintained muscle mass, didn't necessarily grow much throughout this phase, but he lost a massive amount of body fat, and his gym performance helped him maintain the muscle, so he looked drastically different as the fat came down. This here is Leandro, and he's in his mid-30s. He actually grew a significant amount of muscle while losing body fat. And this is also more than possible, in particularly if you only just got into the gym over the last 6 to 12 months. Leandro was relatively new to the gym when we started working together, and by putting him in a sensible calorie deficit and focusing on getting stronger over 4 sessions a week, in fact, he over doubled his strength in 4 months. He's seen a massive change in his physique when it comes to reduction of body fat and increase of muscle mass. And finally, James, he was training for an Ironman, but at the same time wanted to get into a lot better condition. He had a great previous training history, but hadn't been working out consistently for a while and lost muscle and gained fat. So we went back through a rebody composition phase, where we focused on regrowing muscle tissue that he had lost previously, while getting the fat off at the same time, and also focusing on improving his fitness to get him ready for an Ironman. We just had to be smart about his nutrition and his recovery so we could keep up with all the disciplines in which he was focusing on each week. So there's a few examples of people that I've worked with and got in great shape through strategic and thought out nutrition and training programming. And if you want help putting a program together like this, then I've left a link in the description. It's a questionnaire. Tap on it and answer the questions, and I'll be in touch and reach out personally and give you more information in terms of how I can help.